Hello, you guys. How are you? Let me mute that, pause that, whatever. Hey, Nadie. Hey, Mime. Ashley. Hey, Tony. Leo girl. Hey, Eris. Hey, Johnny. Sassy Blue. Corey. Kathy. C-Wise. Joan. How are you guys? Hey, Tiffany, good to see you. Chris, good to see you. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here. I cannot wait to show you guys this stuff that I found. I can actually debunk the video that people, I mean, I know it looks like him, but it's been debunked, and I can't wait to show you guys. And then there's so much more. There's other things that sound like they could be him. I just can't wait to show you. Hey, Muffy. Hey, Lady Lynn. Hey, Mama Bear. Hey, Melissa. Let's see. Fee. Still gets you though. I'm echoing? That's odd. I do. I feel a little bit better today, Mame. I mean, I've been feeling pretty good anyways. I just couldn't breathe that good. Hey, when you holler, girl. Oh, I cannot wait to show you guys. Jax, I just find it strange that his parents knew there's only a few miles from where the murders happened. I've thought about that too. And maybe he told them he had already spoke to police or something. We really don't know. Oh, you are beautiful. Hey, JD. Thank you for being here. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. Let me see. I already have, this is the Facebook where I saw my stuff anyways for us to look at. So Monday to today. There's an article that I want to read about him, but should we do that first or the debunking? I think the debunking first, and then we'll do the article. So, you know, that TikTok video that everybody thought was him. Shoot, Wolfie, I thought you had sent me just like a quick clip of the shoes video. Oh, no, wrong person. Forward that to you instead of myself. Okay. So remember the video and we were comparing the guy's reflection and all that stuff. Well, number one, that account has posted. Okay. But that's not even it. The people are still thinking it could be him because the post has nothing to do, like, it doesn't even sound like the same person. So I'm going to show you what that account posted, and then I'm going to show you this person who debunked it even before they did. So this person, all of a sudden, they show up on their TikTok and they do this. Now, it's really weird because the video like completely stops. Like it's cut off at a place where it definitely shouldn't be. It's not a natural cutoff for it. But the account that, where we were looking in the reflection, everybody thought it could be him. They posted this to their TikTok.
Hey guys, I wanted to report some new information regarding the Idaho 4. Let me first say that, my posting this quote unquote insider information is not some.
Okay, so it just stops right there and nothing else. He says nothing else. It's just.
Hey guys, I wanted to report some new information regarding the Idaho 4.
He doesn't even sound like the same person, but I personally think he's probably sick. Now, remember, like, I think I unsent it, but we had, photos of comparisons. It really did look like it could be the same guy. Here we go. This guy, remember, people had lightened it up, and it's so creepy how much they do actually kind of look alike. Now, I'm going to show you Killer Bee's video, okay? And then I'm going to show you the YouTube account of the person who made that video. But this is a retired detective, and we've watched some of his stuff actually before on my channel. But here, share this tab. It's the shoes. Just a moment, you guys. I bet that's law enforcement. I don't know, because watch this. That's what I was thinking too, because it sounds like a different person, right? I was like, man, it could be anybody. He could have asked someone to post on his account.
So
I don't know, but watch this.
This person claims to have inside information on the Idaho case. Many people were speculating suspect. I started listening to the words he was using, describing going through the house, and definitely not the suspect. The words are too soft, too indirect, not for this suspect. Now, I've never heard the suspect speak, but that ain't him. This video's getting played a lot because of speculation, and the owner of the account's just letting it go. So I started looking at his videos. It appears he likes pop stars a lot.
Remember?
In this video, there's a set of shoes.
I told you guys when we talked about him that I had looked at his other videos, and he had like other pop stars, like music concerts and stuff like that. But nothing with his face.
Particular set of shoes. These shoes got my attention. Then there's a video on YouTube from 7 years ago. The username is the long version of the abbreviated name on TikTok. If you're willing to let drama go crazy on your video, I wouldn't put too much stock in his insider information. And my feeling is the details inside of it don't seem to fit.
Yeah, because why didn't he speak up sooner, right? But it's not, fortunately, but unfortunately, here is the YouTube account of the man who you see in that reflection. And he has similar features to our guy, which is why, it just spiraled. But here he does a video about Madonna's Vita shoes. Now, remember, his TikTok name was, like it said, the
Go ahead.
abbreviated
Jealous
version
bitches.
of this.
Just kidding. You want that? You're mine. So don't get any ideas.
Jealous bitches.
You can come see him if you want, but
You can hear his voice. You can see he does have a similar shaped nose.
so
The person that we were seeing in the reflection. It is not Bryan Kohberger. I didn't mean to forward it back to you, Woofy. Hey, Nana Banana. This is the person that you see in the reflection of that video. Thank you, Rody. Thank you, Muffy. It is Muffy. Hey, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year, True Texas girl. So, okay, we got so much more to look at. Let me get back to my other screen. Now, I took this clip from a new video from Crime Sleuthin', which is a really good video. And Wolfie, will you link her channel? But this clip, I had never heard this from Ikid Mel's channel. So we listened to the clip of the guy calling in that T-Rev show, right? I don't have that here. You have to go to her video to listen like to the comparison because she does compare them back to back. But I do have her the clip that I took of it, which I posted onto my TikTok, but let me show you guys. Share this instead. This is so creepy. I mean, this is what nightmares are made of. I will not be surprised if many of us go on to have nightmares after some of this stuff. Hey, Delana. That's not Bryan in that video. That is, it's that guy that I showed you. And I would bet tons of money on it. Okay, listen to this, y'all. I'm going to have to restart it. This is so creepy.
Yeah, I just had a question kind of mainly for you, a couple of them. Do you ever consider the fact or think about while you're doing these live shows, is the killer out there? Is he watching? Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong. Yeah, you're right, but you're never going to find out.
I really wouldn't be surprised, man.
Mm-hmm. If my other question for you was, if you could just imagine that he was watching right now, what's the thing you would say to him? Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong.
Are you the killer?
No. That's a pretty gruesome crime there, but
yeah.
Are you guys hearing this?
I'm not sure if my name came up in the caller ID, but I
no
go by a vulgar name in their chat.
He says I go by a vulgar name in the chat room.
All right.
What? Yeah, I just have.
Okay. And now, like I said, you can go over to her latest video and look at the comparison between the person that called into the to that show and this, and they do sound similar. Hey, Jay. No, Mama Bear. This is on Naked Mail, but it sounds just like that guy, in my opinion. This, I'm going to play it one more time, but just listen to these particular parts. I want you to really pay attention. One, to the excitement in his voice when he says, he laughs. Like the dude that's calling in, they laugh at awkward times. Pay attention to when he laughs. Then pay attention to when Ikid Mel says, are you the killer? He goes, no. So it's really weird. The way he answers that, I don't know. I want you guys to hear it one more time. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Uh-oh, I was trying to click on it. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Mame. Sounds just like him on the T-Rev show. Thank you, Wolfie. Agree, sounds just like him. You guys, I don't know. I don't know his vulgar name. We had to go back and look in the chat during this. Thank you, C-Wise. Crime Sleuthin' did a video. I had never seen this live. I don't watch a lot of the lives. They're like, I'll go in my friends' lives and watch some of those. But, they're long. And I think a lot of times I'm trying to dig in stuff myself, take care of my kids, this and that. So I never heard this. So she put together this and then the other call in. And like I said, I do recommend you guys go check that out. It's very interesting. They sound just alike to me. I'm going to play it one more time. If this is not him, now I will say there was a person who put a clip from T-Rev show onto TikTok, and that girl that came out and knew him from before and talked about the wedding and all that stuff that they both attended, she said it sounds just like him. So to me, this guy sounds like the other guy. I don't know. I also thought the guy in the reflection looked just like him. He did have similar features, but this just shows us social media. I don't know. It could be tricky, but here, let's listen again. Pay attention to, like I said, when he laughs and when he asks, "Are you the killer?" Pay attention to that.
Yeah, I just had just a question, kind of mainly for you. A couple of them. Do you ever fact or think about while you're doing these live shows?
No, this is definitely
the
from
killer
Icked
out
Mel's
there?
show.
Is he watching?
You can hear Icked Mel.
Yeah, they're like, you're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah, you're right, but you're never gonna find out.
Yeah. I really wouldn't be surprised, man.
People, but
Mm-hmm.
for you, if you could just imagine that he was watching right now, what's the one thing you would say to him? Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Are you the killer?
No. That's a pretty gruesome crime there, but
Yeah.
Thank you, Muffy.
I'm not sure if a name came up on your caller ID, but I
No.
go by a vulgar name and
Hey,
SB.
Connor.
Maybe I'll figure out chat when I get back on.
All right. SB? Welcome.
I just had just a question, kind of mainly for you. Do you ever consider the fact or think about while you're doing these live shows, is the killer out there? Is he watching?
Right
they're
there.
probably like,
Is the killer out there? Is he watching? Oh my God, it's just like the creepiest. You know who this voice reminds me of? What's that guy from Family Guy? Like what's his name? The one that's like a pervert. He just Quagmire. But listen to his laugh after that sentence.
do you
Right here.
ever consider the fact or think about while you're doing these live shows, is the killer out there? Is he watching? Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah, you're right.
Is he watching? Like, oh my God, whoever that is creeps me out. Giggity, yes. Quagmire. Yeah. Herbert the pervert. No, not him, but yeah. Weirdest question. And his laugh, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it's him either. And on left too and ask, now that the cops have nabbed this guy, won't they be able to check his cell phone records and see who he called and when during the last month? Might be, oh, of course they will. And I mean, it might come out. This is what I was thinking, because we will never know for certain. Okay, we just won't. But in the trial, if they go through his cell phone records and what he was up to after, it might come out then, possibly. Holy cannoli. Can you imagine if he isn't the killer, the real killer will be celebrating thinking he got away with it? I just don't think he would call into these shows, but who knows? Sorry, you guys. Hold on one second. Not trying to cough all in y'all's ear. Yeah, the guy here is deranged. I'm blocked in by my neighbor who must be passed out. Oh no, Punksy. Okay. Now, let's keep looking because I got lots of other stuff for us to look at. Some really interesting, unique stuff that I haven't seen all over, but also I haven't seen a ton of everything happening. So, maybe you guys have seen some of it, but okay, let's go up to right. First, let's look at this article because this is the first thing that this morning that I wanted to show you guys. So these are more reports from people who have been around him and kind of interesting. So suspect in Idaho killings had made creepy comments to brewery staff, customer owner says. For people who met the suspect in passing, knowing now that he has been accused in the Idaho murders has left them uneasy. Several share details on past interactions. The suspect in the killings of the 4 University of Idaho students last month had been known to make some employees at a Pennsylvania brewery to make creepy and inappropriate comments, the business owner said. Since Bryan Christopher Kohberger's arrest on Friday in Pennsylvania, some who knew or had exchanges with the 28-year-old are now reflecting on those interactions in light of his arrest on a murder warrant in the November 13th deaths of the students in Moscow. Jordan Cyrulnik, the owner of Seven Sirens Brewing Company in Bethlehem, said Kohberger had gone by himself to the brewery a few times and would sit at the bar. The exchanges at the brewery happened months ago, possibly when the suspect was a student at DeSales University in Center Valley, less than 6 miles south of Bethlehem. Kohberger received his bachelor's from DeSales in 2020 and then graduate studies there in 2022. We knew that. So the brewery sometimes had unusual characters, which was not out of the ordinary, Cyrulnik said. But he remembered Kohberger from some interactions he had had with female patrons and staff. Cyrulnik said Kohberger didn't do anything in front of him or management, but he said he would make comments under his breath or if only one person was working at the bar. In the bar system, staff added notes that would pop up when his ID was scanned, Cyrulnik said. Staff put in there, hey, this guy makes creepy comments. Keep an eye on him. He'll have 2 or 3 beers and then just get a little too comfortable, he says. Cyrulnik said Kohberger would ask the female staff or customers who they were at the brewery with where they lived, what their work schedule was. He said if the women blew him off, he would get upset with them a little bit, noting that one time he called one of his staff members a disparaging term when she refused to answer his questions. Kohberger had not returned to the brewery since Cyrulnik approached him months ago about the complaints from his staff. I went up to him and I said, hey, Bryan, welcome back. We appreciate you coming back. I just wanted to talk to you real quick and make sure that you're going to be respectful this time and we're not going to have any issues, he said. And he was completely taken aback. He was shocked that I was saying that. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. You totally have me confused. Kohberger had 1 beer and left, he said. I'm still worried about this. For people who met the suspect in passing, knowing now that he has been accused in the Idaho killings has left them uneasy. Following a snowstorm in early December, Kohberger needed help removing snow from his car window, said neighbor Angela He, 35, who lives directly below the suspect in student housing. My husband came outside and saw he needed help, she said, adding another neighbor ended up assisting Kohberger, sorry. I don't know if I said that right. The mother of 2 said she recognized Kohberger when she saw him in media reports Friday and that the fear of residing near the alleged killer has weighed on her. We still feel it's not so safe to live here. I don't want to go out. I'm still worried about this. BK Norton, we read some of this yesterday. This is a student from Washington State University that had class with him, and they said he continued to attend classes through the end of the semester. When discussed in class, Bryan did not mention or contribute to the conversation of the murders, Norton said by email. We were released from class early after the murders to get home, and it was still light out, and Bryan was in those classes with us. Austin Morrison, a 22-year-old criminal justice major at Washington State, said Kohberger was his teaching assistant in his criminal procedure class last semester. He was rather quiet and didn't talk a lot and set off to the side, Morrison said Saturday. But Morrison cautioned to let the judicial system play out before passing judgment. Being a criminal justice major, I'm in the mindset that he's innocent until proven guilty, Morrison said. That's my stance on it. We know that he was shocked by his arrest. His attorney said he was very aware, but calm and really shocked by his arrest. So let me see I can't see the comments while I'm reading that. So let me click over to you guys and see what's happening in our chat. I heard he seemed a little happy. In New York, we live in constant shock and fear every time we get behind a driver with a Pennsylvania license plate. I'm going to be up all night writing for my new album, Allie, and I'm going to watch some of your older vids that I've never seen. Oh, awesome, Jay. Oh, writing for your new album. How cool is that? And anything I recommend? Bianca Devins, that is a case I did videos with her mom. It was a young lady who was murdered by a boy who filmed it, put it on Instagram, all kinds of stuff. Those are very interesting. Kendrick Johnson videos are very interesting. And a cause that needs attention. Hey, Amber, good to see you. Okay, let's keep going. Hi, MJ. Okay. Hey, JC. Good to see you. All right, let's keep it going because we still got lots more. There's so much information with this. There really, really is. Okay. This is just a screenshot from a TikTok that I took. I wanted to show you guys. So this person was showing that they had him as their teacher's assistant in one of their classes, and they were showing an email from him, and it says you see his name circled there. Good afternoon, everyone. For the next class, review the syllabus, section 1 through 8, Dobbs versus Jackson. And look, someone commented, did y'all ever mention that I didn't class for any reason? That's so wild. And she says, yes, we brought it up quite a bit, mostly because it was a popular case in criminal justice. Also, the U of I is like 10 minutes from us. And someone said, yeah, that's insane. Yeah, to know your teacher's assistant is the pretty crazy. Then that's a video that I want to watch, but we're going to keep going for a moment and come back to it. This is in a Facebook group. This person had just combined like all the things from the Reddit that we looked yesterday. And we actually will come back to that as well. Because I want to read through these other things first. So this is just a post on Reddit. And look, this is hearsay. It's just still something interesting. I just want, we got to keep in mind where it came from and that kind of thing. So they say, this is in the Moscow Murders subreddit. Found out some pretty neat information from my brother, who's a U.S. Marshal / federal agent, tonight about the DNA recovery that took place on this. There was blood residue found in the upstairs bathroom drain. Within the seal, they found epithelial cells, skin shavings. Those were tested and found to contain both the victim's skin and a third unidentified party. A DNA profile was then sent to a collaborative online genealogy database, Ancestry, 23andMe, MyHeritage, who narrowed down the sample to being closely familiar to within one generation of a single family tree and gave them a list under just under 70 potential people. This would also appear to confirm the speculation many of us had the killer spent some time cleaning up afterwards and will prove to be quite the valuable piece of evidence against him. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. However, one reason I wanted to show it is it's basically, to me, a theory. If it turns out to be true, then we'll talk about that later. But at this point, it's just a theory. But if we believe that Reddit account, inside looking or outside looking, the ones that we looked at yesterday, if we believe that is him, that account said multiple times that he did not cut himself. There would be no DNA. He did not cut himself. So I think that's super, super interesting. I don't know. I believe that typically ancestral DNA is done through blood or spit. Doesn't prove that he's guilty of the actual crime. We don't know, Mar. It's basically just, just something that I saw, just a theory, a possibility of what could have happened. Several news outlets reported the genealogy DNA match. I've seen that. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys, let's keep going. I've always wondered if he cleaned up at the scene. because I just wonder, like, how do you, even if it's a drive home, if your car's close, how do you risk not, like, he's not going to risk getting caught. He was probably very careful. He probably wore gloves. I'm not sure. I don't know. But all I know is that I don't see him driving like back to Pullman with blood all over him, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. I mean, he's been studying this stuff for years and years and years. Okay, now this is about, this is really sweet. I just wanted to read it to you guys. I found it in one of the groups. This person went to the memorial for Kaylee and Maddie, okay? They say, something I want to share with you all that is pretty cool. My daughter and I went to the service for Kaylee and Maddie at Lake City Church here in their hometown yesterday. It was set up beautifully, so many flowers that were coming in. We sat middle-ish area of the church. As Kaylee's sister was speaking, she was talking about how she felt terrible, that she didn't have the instinct that something was wrong with her sister and Maddie, that she didn't instinctively know they were in trouble, that they were gone. Then she said, but then I realized she isn't gone. She is still here. She is in the hot pink fingernails of the barista at the coffee stand. And just then, one piece of confetti type paper came down from the ceiling and landed 2 rows ahead of us, a few rows behind the family. And it was hot pink. It landed on the guy's shoulder. My daughter and I were like, what the heck? Then a little while later, one of the speakers was saying, they hope heaven is pink for Maddie. And I'm not exaggerating. A light pink piece of confetti came floating down from the ceiling. Everyone was pointing at it. It was right in front of us and landed behind the family. It was crazy. Definitely took it as a sign. So I thought that was sweet. Was someone found near the door? Why was blood coming from the doorway? Vicky, that's a good question. I don't know. I know that Reddit account placed blueprints with little stick figures of where they thought each person was at, but we don't really know for sure until the trial. I know. Isn't that so sweet? I loved that. More importantly, is if they find the blood of one or more of the students in either his car or his apartment, no way he can explain that. Absolutely. And guess what? It wasn't coming from the doorway. It was coming from not where exactly I think the bed was at, and closer to the door of the bedroom and closer to the door of the house. But no, it wasn't coming from like the front door, if that's what you meant. I took it as the door of the bedroom though, but I could be wrong. But look, we don't know what they could have found in his house because they arrested him before they ever did the search on his apartment. All the evidence that's going to lead to the arrest, which is all the evidence we'll see in the probable cause affidavit, is going to be, just a small amount compared to what they have at the end after going through his car, after going through his house, all that stuff. Hey, allegedly. Hey, Nicole. I think Murphy's hair is going to be found in his car or apartment. It's possible. I don't think he could explain that, Okay, let's keep going. I'll show you exactly a blueprint of the house if you want me to show you where the blood was coming from. Exactly. It wasn't from by the front door, but I think it was, I'll just show you on a blueprint. It's hard for me to explain. Okay. Now, this is a Carfax report that somebody did on his vehicle, okay? This is something super, very, 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 very interesting. November 18th, 2022. He went and had his title changed to, be a Washington resident because he was a Pennsylvania resident. So 5 days later, which would he have gotten? Yeah, he definitely would have gotten a new license plate. Is that the motive behind doing that? I don't know, but it is still interesting that he went 3 days after. And then it says manufacturer service campaign issued. I don't even know what that means. But we're looking at this in gray right above that. Woofy might know what that means. Hey, F-Bomb Mom, good to see you. You would think he cleaned his car, but I don't know. I would think so. I was just thinking like on the ride home, He also did something with the HVAC system. He studied HVAC in community college. Well, I know he went to Votech in high school. The dad wasn't on the drive home. There was people in it. The car check before they left. I imagine there's a lot of people in it. There's going to be a lot of things he is going to have a hard time explaining. I think he wants credit for the planning and pulling it off. He doesn't seem to care much about not getting caught, though. Hey, Search and Rescue K9 Mom, good to see you. He wore gloves. Maybe because he knew he was in... Well, he wore gloves after. Okay, let's keep going because I do have a couple other things. Then I've got some TikToks out. I mean, oh my gosh, I thought about doing one video alone just on the TikTok videos. But there's so much out there, and I don't know, there's some interesting things. This is from a tweet, but I didn't take the screenshot. I found this in a group. Now, look, this is just something interesting. So this person who has a brother, I guess in law enforcement, this is how he is. Okay, so Bryan talks about, no. This is the girl. This is the girl that knows him. Okay, this is the girl who was seeing him at the wedding and all that stuff. This is under a tweet or under where I think it might be a TikTok video about the tweet. Regardless, it's about the tweet that where Bryan Enton says that the lawyer says Bryan is eager to be exonerated, right? So she, the girl who knows him, comes underneath the TikTok post about it and says, this is how he is as a person. After talking with my brother, we're certain he's challenging law enforcement intelligence. It is an experiment. He wants to see if he can get away with it. He waived his right to the hearing because he knows it will speed up the process and put pressure on the forensic team. He'll need to have a preliminary hearing within 14 days of arriving in Idaho. The prosecution needs to have concrete evidence for the trial. We are certain he will plead not guilty. I want to hear his voice too, Vicky. I really do. Yeah, yeah, because they can, even if you, no matter what he cleans with, blood leaves behind something that you can't get rid of like that. So yes, I don't know what it is in the blood that specifically that shows on like a luminol test. I feel like he thinks he is going to get away with this. With his education, he most likely prepared for a lot of different outcomes. Okay. Aloha, Alex. Did you apologize to Jack D? No. But from the beginning, even though I was suspicious of Jack D, at first I wasn't at all because the family was like, we trust him, blah, blah, blah. But then it was, after some time and after the jackass stuff, I wasn't as much suspicious of Hoodie Guy. I was. However, every time I always said, we don't know for sure and we should not go out blame people, all that kind of stuff. Plasma. Okay. Hey, April King. I said this on a live, right? I swear I did. What was it? Allegedly. Have you been going live like that? Why am I not seeing that? That's annoying. I heard he used a full hazmat suit and covered his shoes and then packed it up and possibly even showered before he left. Who knows? Hey, Jim. Okay, so let's keep going because we do have a lot of TikToks to look at. Okay, so that's it, actually. Let me open up TikTok now. Actually, I'm already in it. I forgot. Okay, we're just going to go to my account. I have to see, though, like, you know how on your phone it's really easy to see, like, all the videos that you've liked? How do I do that on here? Oh, here we go. because I liked a bunch of them that I wanted to show you guys. Was watching Dolly Parton as well. See the Jasco 1972 account? That's the one that's gotten a lot of attention. I wonder if those 500,000 people will see. You know, that it wasn't him and that this account is posting now. I don't remember where I started, where I wanted to show you guys, but let's here maybe.
28-year-old man charged with the brutal murders of 4 University of Idaho students as they were sleeping is due in court on Tuesday. Bryan Kohberger now faces 4 counts of first-degree murder. He was arrested on Friday in Pennsylvania, thousands of miles away from the crime scene. His attorney says he'll waive his extradition because he's, quote, eager to be exonerated. A childhood friend reveals new details tonight about the 28-year-old graduate student. Here's ABC's Kana Whitworth.
Tonight, Bryan Kohberger's childhood friend Thomas speaking to ABC News, describing the Idaho murder suspect as mean in high school, saying Bryan was eager to be seen as dominant.
He would just put me in, he would grapple me and put me in headlocks and arm bars and stuff like that.
Kohberger's family releasing a statement which reads in part, "First and foremost, we care deeply for the 4 families who have lost precious children. There are no words that can adequately express the sadness."
It makes a lot of
feel.
sense.
We have fully
allegedly
cooperated with law enforcement agencies in an attempt to seek the truth and promote his presumption of innocence. The small community in Moscow terrified for weeks after roommates Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin were found stabbed to death in their off-campus
Ooh,
home
have
in
fun,
mid-November.
Parawoman.
Kohberger's lawyer saying Bryan's father flew from his home in the Poconos to Washington State for a pre-planned cross-country road trip back home to Pennsylvania for Christmas in that white Elantra.
Crazy.
Cross country took them approximately 2.5 days. Mr. Kohberger indicated that Bryan was acting normal and not out of character on the drive back.
The car seized from the Kohberger's home after Bryan was arrested early Friday morning. The Monroe County Chief Public Defender saying Kohberger is eager to return to Idaho.
Dolly is queen.
Police in Moscow say they're confident they arrested the only person responsible for the murders. Still, they're searching for a murder weapon they describe as a fixed blade knife. The police chief saying the community has a name and a face, and now they're hoping more people will come forward with information.
We have a lot of work to do still. We still have a lot of pieces we have to put together. That's why we're still asking people, if you have known this individual, contact.
Okay, next one, because we've already seen that.
He could beat this.
So let's talk about this. Police, they had some.
Why was he so hard to
difficulties
catch?
Capturing this guy at first. Do you think it's because we know he was very sloppy, so he made a lot of mistakes? We're going to talk later in the program about the DNA that they used to connect him to the scene of the crime. But do you think him being so astute to how the criminal justice system worked, how investigations work, caused some problems for investigators?
Oh, absolutely. You know, he was well versed in not only having a bachelor's degree, but a master's degree, working a PhD. This individual was very well studied in terms of also serial killers. He studied under Dr. Ramsland, which is very important because of the teaching he would have received, the surveys he sent out, all the information he received from past
I love her. She's great.
Jennifer, he's a clear narcissist when you look at some of his posts. He thinks that he can outsmart the criminal justice system.
There you go.
Realize that no matter how much you know about criminal justice system, you can't escape forensic. What do you expect?
So they said it there. He thinks he can outsmart it, along with what you're saying, allegedly, and the people who know him. That may be the game he's on, the game he's playing.
Here is a classmate of Bryan Kohberger speaking now.
So, looking back at the film following the homicides overnight in Moscow, Idaho, I did notice that he was showing up to class a little late sometimes. He always had a coffee in hand. He always seemed to be just perpetually exhausted. And most of that as a graduate student, that is not unusual. That is fairly normal. It didn't raise any red flags at the time. And like everybody in a graduate program, there's a little bit of awkwardness. You're trying to fit in, you're trying to find your niche. And Bryan Kohberger fit in that. He was awkward. He was trying to fit in. He was trying to get his inroad into this group and establish these social bonds with other members of the cohort. But now looking back in hindsight, having these allegations come almost entirely out of left field, all of that feels less like normal trying to fit in, and it just feels unsettling.
So he was an awkward individual, and you know, there was some weird stuff. He says a lot of times with people who are in doctorate programs, they're a little awkward. These are, you know, not typically. It's the smarter people who are more, I don't know, not always, but you know, a lot of times. But now that he's been, you know, caught for this, it feels less like
he was delivering it quickly and forcibly to quiet her, which
this is not
I apologize for how.
Now I want to know if he really has a family member in the investigation.
So an article last week mentioned.
No, I like listening to this guy. This is very interesting. Listen to this.
And then Bryan Kohberger's lawyers confirmed that his dad from Pennsylvania in mid-December to drive Bryan home.
David.
And that has obviously lit a bunch of people up, created a lot of speculation, a lot of dark speculation. Did dad know something or suspect something and was, you know, trying to get that car out of the area? Because who in Pennsylvania doesn't care about a very common white car that police Moscow, Idaho are looking for? Possible. Wouldn't necessarily put money on it, but look more money and reason why you do that. We need to address one right away.
He is a psychology and sociology professor.
Look at the cost of dad flying out, all the cost of passive back and the time. Assuming he believed Bryan was going to back for the next semester, you're going to repeat all that cost the other way.
Many of us have wondered, why would dad fly out there just to drive back with him?
Why not just fly Bryan home for Christmas and fly him back? I don't want to start throwing labels out here because I don't have the data for it, but from what we're hearing about him, if he does fit some of the labels, I think he would be high probability to have a flying phobia,
Angie.
So he may refuse to fly. It could be that he didn't want to go home for Christmas and he was making up excuses not to. And his dad finally said, screw it, I'm coming out there and we're driving back together. Now, why would he do this? Would this be dad-son bonding experience? Could be. Could be because of the
thank you,
length of the drive.
David,
We're
for being
35 or 40-hour drive in the summer. We have to consider the season here. So it could be dad came over so they could do a 2-driver nonstop between Washington and Pennsylvania. There's probably some people watching this video who've done drives like
this.
That
makes so much sense, though. Listen.
But there's another big one in here. Again, even though Bryan Kohberger was 28 years old or is 28 years old, everything we're learning about him, he seems to have spent his entire life in Pennsylvania. With all due respect to Pennsylvania, you don't have driving conditions there like you'll find from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho to Missoula, Montana on I-90 in the winter. Born and raised Northwest boy here, lots of experience on snow, ice, freezing rain. That drive white knuckles me. I'll avoid that drive if I have a possibility at all. There's no way that if I had a son in college who had never driven in conditions, that I would expect them to drive in those just to come home for Christmas. I would.
Mallory, thank you, and love you. You're so sweet. Thank you.
In the winter, and there's a lot of rough to cross the northern U.S. So all of those could be valid reasons. So an article last week I mentioned, and
I tend to think when he's talking about him, hey, he didn't want meat to, his family had to go out and get brand new pans and stuff. How do we know that he would even get on an airplane? And so I don't know. Thank you again, Mallory. That's so. Hey, Lucia. Yeah, he's great. He's super intelligent. Apparently, this professor has never been to Breezewood, PA. Well, I know that there's some bad weather up in, I lived in Poconos, plenty of snow and ice. I'm from West Virginia originally. And there was some bad weather there. And it was the Appalachian Mountains where I was at. So it was some pretty rough driving. Corey says, I drove that drive in the winter, and yes, it's treacherous. Okay. Let's go to our next one. Oh, shoot. What am I doing? Okay. Nancy Grace, man, she
I want
is
to point out
feisty.
2 things. This guy has got a master's degree in criminology. He's currently working on a PhD in criminal justice. Yet he drove the getaway car all the way and parked it outside of mommy's house. Are you kidding me? Another thing we know about this guy, he has been described as obsessively vegan.
Or
to
maybe
the
she's the one
point
who says
he
that, yeah.
made his parents get rid of their pots and pans. Oh no, the bake process in the dishwasher wasn't enough. They had to buy new pans that had never touched meat. What does that tell me? He is obsessive. He is fastidious.
So she's the one who said that. I was watching the comments. I don't listen as much when I'm replaying as I'm looking and like watching the comments. So I think she's the one who makes the point that I just made, actually.
He's about 6 feet tall. He's socially awkward. He planned this whole thing out. Did you notice?
Sandra, listen here.
Charges. He didn't go into steal. He went.
Number one. Okay, if we wanted to go over old news and talk about it, we totally can, and we will. Okay, and number 2, no, it's not. Rewind a little bit. I've not seen anyone show that TikTok account has made videos now. I have not showed anyone connect it to their real YouTube channel and show the real person who was in that video on the TikTok account. And if you guys came in late and you missed it, you definitely don't want to miss that part because that is important.
He went into that home with the intent to kill. How long had he been watching these girls? And as we speak, Jason, they are tearing his Pullman apartment apart for any notes or writings, anything that can match him up to this murder. And I predict they will find it. I want to point out 2 things. This guy has got a master's degree in criminology. He's currently working on a PhD in criminal justice. Yet he drove the getaway car all the way and parked it outside of
there's constantly new stuff coming out. A lot, every single day, every single minute. Every time I get on, there's something I hadn't seen before. Constantly.
I've been able to gather on our suspect in the Idaho murders. If you've been following this for the past
that
day, you know
picture,
Bryan is a PhD graduate.
Oh, he just creeps me out so much right there. This is just like a good overview. I like this girl. I think she does a good job.
Student in the criminology department at Washington State. This is just 9 miles west from where the victims lived. According to online school records, Bryan received an associate's arts degree in 2018 from a community college near his family's hometown of Albrightsville, Pennsylvania.
I love you guys, Amanda.
He was arrested in the same area where he received his master's degree from DeSales University earlier this year. So Bryan was living here on Washington State's campus at the time of the murders, but up until August of 2021, he was studying and working time as a security guard at his family's old high school district in Pennsylvania. A representative from the school confirmed he finished this semester, with CNN reporting that he drove across the country in the white Elantra, arriving at his family's home around Christmas. Investigators reportedly did find DNA at the crime scene and, quote, eventually narrowed down their focus to Bryan after tracing ownership of that Elantra back to him. A surveillance team with the FBI kept him under watch for 4 days while they could put together a probable cause for arrest warrant. And then yesterday around 3 a.m., he was officially arrested. By 7:30 a.m., authorities were executing search warrants and recovered the white Elantra along with this box of evidence.
I hadn't seen this box yet. I don't know that. I don't know. You can't tell at all what's in there. But look right here. This little thing. Oh, is that just a picture on the bigger box that's in here? What is that? Like it has like those little hexagons that connect.
They said they're still looking for the murder weapon and will be able to release more information when Bryan is physically back in Idaho. So now we wait, but aside from all of this, some of Bryan's old friends have come forward to describe him as awkward, really intelligent, and being bullied in high school. And that really just leaves his research, so that is what we'll be getting into next.
Okay.
Bryan tweeted, my first reaction was my stomach turned and I literally got physically ill. Serial killer BTK's daughter told me she was stunned when she found out the forensic psychology professor who wrote the autobiography on her dad was also accused.
I don't know why I saved
Idaho
this.
killer Bryan Kohberger's teacher. Kohberger. Sorry.
There was an article published today.
We read about this.
12/31.
Many people mention the similarities between
Now,
the
this is
Idaho
very
4
interesting,
crime and
too.
Ted Bundy from the beginning of this whole case. But now when you look at the suspect and Ted Bundy side by side, it's creepy. Not only do they kind of look like, but the details are a little weird too. Bryan Kohberger was a PhD student in the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology at Washington State University, while Ted Bundy received his undergraduate degree in psychology from the University of Washington. But he was majoring in psychology. And they both unalived sorority member college students, but that's not the only thing. By the way, I really wish I didn't have to say unalive, but platforms do flag us. But this part is only speculation, but there is a TikTok account of a man who talks about the Idaho 4 case in a very detailed and weird manner. And in that video, he says that he's related to one of the investigators. His reflection shows on the screen, and it's very similar to Bryan. But his username...
So we know that is not him. And then the video that we went over earlier, that came from Crime Sleuth's video today.
Question kind of mainly for you.
I'm going to play it again in case you weren't in here in the beginning, because in the beginning we went through debunking the fact that that is not Bryan in the videos in the reflection. So if you missed that, and then made this is someone who called in on It Could Mail. Crime Sleuthin did a video where she compares this to the person that called in on T-Rev, and I don't have that clip. You have to go watch her video to hear the comparison. I think they do sound very similar, but listen to this if you haven't heard it. And then
For you, a couple of them. Do you ever consider the fact or think about while you're doing these live shows, is the killer out there? Is he watching? Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong. Yeah, you're right, but you're never going to find out.
Yeah. I really wouldn't be surprised, man.
If my other question for you was, if you could just imagine that he was watching right now, what's the one thing you would say to him? Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong.
Creepy. Okay. Now,
so a lot of people are now under the impression that Papa Roger is definitely not Bryan.
you guys got to see this. Okay, so Papa Roger was another person that people were thinking was him. Okay, now there's been another, just here, I'm not even going to try to explain it. I probably can't even do it as well as he can. Let me just let him explain it.
People are under the impression that Papa Roger is definitely not Bryan Kohberger because he's posted something
Not
on
that I know of,
Facebook
Jen.
since Bryan's arrest. He states that he was on a fishing trip away from social media, and he is now upset that people were talking badly about him while he was away.
Amber,
I
I'll
thought
show
that
you.
this was a clearance for him. However, after looking further into it, that post was made by a new member with the same name as Papa Roger. It was a troll. The real Papa Roger profile has
that
not
is not him in the reflection. It's 100% not him. Number one, he made another post today or yesterday. Okay, but number two, watch this. Where's our little guy? Hold on. I have to get it here. Killer Bee Tactical.
So I've been tagged a lot in this video. This person claims to have inside information on the Idaho case. Many people
I
are
thought it was
speculating
him
this could
too,
be
but
the
it's
suspect.
not.
I started listening to the words using describing going through the house, and definitely not the suspect. The words are too soft, too indirect, not for this suspect. I've never heard the suspect speak, but that ain't him. This video's getting played a lot because of speculation, and the owner of the account's just letting it go. So I started looking at videos, and it appears he likes pop stars a lot. Video, there's a set of shoes, a particular set of shoes. These shoes got my attention. Then there's a video on YouTube from 7 years ago. The username is the long version of the abbreviated name on TikTok. If you're willing to let drama go crazy on your video, I wouldn't put too much stock in his insider information.
Okay.
And my feeling is the details.
Now, let's show you. Here is the guy's account. I know it's in my search history. Hold on. Wait. I'm just going to have to pull it up on my phone to get the name. The guy's account is JOSCO 1972. Now, his account has posted a new video last night. Come on, dude. Look. He posted a new video, which is an update, okay, on the Idaho case. But he just says, I'm going to share an update with you guys. And then, I don't know why it's taking forever to load. And then it cuts off. So here is the update. This is the video everyone thought was him, okay? The 596,000 views. That's why he's quiet. He's letting his views build up. He got 500,000 views. Now, this is his new video. He just posted 20 hours ago.
Hey guys,
no, I'm going to show
wanted
you
to
his
report
face.
some new information regarding the Idaho 4. Let me first say that, my posting this quote unquote insider information is not some
So he shows on the screen that there's been an arrest, same computer. It is the same voice. He's just sick. But if you go back to his videos, there he has that video with the shoes. It's in this right here. I think it's in this one. Yes, they're on the wall right there, right? Now, this is the guy. Remember, the account name is Joe SCO 1972. Okay. If you go over here to YouTube, the YouTube account named John Scott. So John Scott, and that person has the initials for John Scott in their name. He shows the shoes, right? If you look,
Go ahead.
The guy has similar features to Bryan because if you look, you can see like the nose, and he also has a very similar nose. Like a.
Just kidding. You can come see him if you want, but goodbye.
John Scott, and then like I said, back to the TikTok account, it's John Scott 1972. You go back to his videos, he's got even if you look at his prior videos, he's got all these pop star then he has the video where he talks about his family member in the investigation, and then 20 hours ago he posts that. But so yeah, I think he just a little bit sick in this one.
I wanted to report some new information regarding the Idaho 4. Let me first say that, my posting this quote unquote insider information is not some
So let me get back to StreamYard so I can see you guys. And email is easy to hack. Yeah, definitely people can get hacked. But on this one, I just think there's too many pieces to it that I'm lost. There are too many ways to disguise your voice. So the account who posted has posted again, right? Since he's been arrested. He shows on the screen, he barely speaks. But also in their older videos, the account shows a pair of shoes, which this detective used to link to this guy's YouTube channel, which also has the same name in a video from 10 years ago showing off those shoes. So, right, all they need is password and email unless you had two-step verification, then yes, it's not hacked. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it even looks like the same desk. It's got the same name as his YouTube channel. The guy that looks like the guy in the reflection, I kind of don't think that it's him, but I don't know. It's crazy. That's what I'm saying. The internet can trick, like, I don't know. It's a little bit scary, to be honest. The way that the internet plays with our minds. Also, do you see our psychopathic killer? I was thinking this whenever I thought it was him, because I truly believed it was him too, until I found all this morning. But then I start flicking through his videos and I'm like, holy moly, you are so obsessed with Harry Styles. You know, why would this person, it's just so not something that I saw coming from Bryan. I mean, I had accepted it that it was, but now it's just pretty funny. But I never thought the laptop guy was him. I did wonder, however, if the information he is providing actually came from law enforcement. Well, now I'm wondering that too, and maybe it did. You know, I don't know until, yeah, just don't know. Is this guy? I think now he hadn't responded at first. He let it go for days. It wasn't until yesterday evening, he responded and shares that video of the updates, but he cuts it off halfway. Inside looking on 4chan, and then on Reddit too. Yeah, I mean, hold on, let me show you I'll show you one more time his newest video. Maybe he was trying to make ringtones. People are commenting murder, but look, this dude, by not responding, his video is up to 600,000 views almost. There's his video that everybody thought was him, right? And then here is his update.
Hey guys, I wanted to report.
Let's watch this though for a second, just to hear his voice.
There, to those of you interested in hearing this report, I just want to let you know that I'm a relative of someone inside the investigation into the quadruple homicide in Idaho. I don't want to be any more specific than that because I don't want to put anybody in a challenging or contentious situation regarding their continued employment. And I will say what I'm about to tell you is secondhand, but it is from what I believe to be a very reliable source. Again, this can only be considered a rumor as I don't have firsthand knowledge. I never planned on posting any of this information out of respect for the victims' families. However, now that one of the victims' fathers has released some of the gruesome details himself, I'd like to share some of the investigative theory. As you know, the two women were found in the same bed, but with similar wounds. That's what's being reported. That's not exactly 100%.
We're going to compare it to,
at least in regard to the fact that they weren't, they hadn't fallen asleep in the same bed.
now we're going to, let's compare it to his voice in this.
So don't get any. Go ahead. Jealous bitches. Just kidding. You can come see him if you want, but you're mine. So don't get any ideas.
You can't, he's all excited in that you can't really tell, plus it's old, but yeah, let's go back for just a second to where we were, and then here is his update he posted 20 hours ago.
Hey guys, I wanted to report some new information regarding the Idaho 4. Let me first say that, you know, my posting this quote unquote insider information is not some hey guys, I wanted to report some new information regarding the Idaho 4. Let me first say that, you know,
that is all he has posted. He cut it off right there. I think it was basically just to prove that he's not in jail, basically. But like I said, many trolls in the case. I know, but what would they have? I just don't know why they would, what would be the point of, number one, how do you explain the John Scott on TikTok versus the YouTube account that's linked, with there's only one pair of those shoes that has the exact same name. Okay. Number two, what would be the point of that? I don't know, of like hacking somebody's computer to post this little video. No, I get it for the first one, but I get why he did it, but I'm saying, what would be the point of hacking? Yeah, the voices didn't sound alike to me either, but that was the video from 10 years ago where he's all excited about getting the shoes versus telling about this case.
Hey there, to
I
those of
just
you
don't see the
interested
point in
in
hacking it. And then I also really, it makes a lot more sense now because I don't see our guy making all these Harry Styles videos. He was into criminology and police and that kind of stuff. I haven't heard anybody that knows him say, talk about his love for concerts and music and to the point where he has very expensive memorabilia and see like all the things that he's collected and stuff. I don't know. And I guess you could say, well, that's not his stuff, or there's many ways you can explain anything. But for me, is it possible it's somebody else? Yeah. Is it likely or probable? No. I don't think he was ever relevant. He was just seeking attention. No, I didn't see that, Amber. I haven't seen that yet. A reporter said today that Bryan was curled up in a ball and facing the wall in his cell. Ugh. Wow. Well, good. Hopefully that's what I think, Shay. I do think so. That's my opinion, though. It's possible, Amber. I think it's possible. I don't think it's probable. I'm starting to think there was no one else involved, like the police have said. I know at first he asked if anyone else had been arrested. However, he was, I think BTK is who did that too. There were other serial killers who did that. We know he studied serial killers. And so I think he just did that to throw them off. He thinks he's the smartest guy ever. Amber's skeptical and I'm cool with it. I'm stubborn too, but I'm with Allie. I'm cool with it too. I don't know. I think like I said, I think it's possible, but I don't think it's that probable. Hey, Crime Sleuthin', we were just talking about that video you did with the recording. That was really interesting. Hey, Delaney, can you preset videos to upload on future dates? Not on TikTok, no. He could have somebody else with the login, potentially. However, if he was working alone, I just think the chances of that are low. Unless somebody else knew that he was involved, that he committed the crime. Gacy. Okay. Thank you, Sandy Beach. Made a similar question upon arrest. BTK first kill was for. I heard that BTK also had to kind of change things up after his first kill as well. I was never sure enough to say it was him, just enough to. I thought it could have been him because the reflection, it looks so much like him. The nose, the ear. However, now I just don't think the chances of it being him are very high. I think that guy could easily pass for him. They have similar nose and that kind of stuff. I don't think any of the accounts are him, in my opinion. Oh my gosh. Do you think this is him? This is just one. Okay, so Crime Sleuthin did a video where she's comparing two people who called in to Ickid and T Rev's show. I just clipped and listened to the part with Ickid Mail with you guys, and you had to go to her video to hear the comparison. They are similar, but I want to know if you think this sounds like, or if you think this could be him. Let me show you. It's on my account on TikTok.
Welcome.
Hey, I just had a question kind of mainly for you, a couple of them. Do you ever consider the fact or think about while you're doing these live shows, is the killer out there? Is he watching? Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong. Yeah, you're right, but you're never going to find out.
Yeah. I really wouldn't be surprised, man.
People, but if my other question for you was, if you could just imagine that he was watching right now, what's the one thing you would say to him? Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong.
Are you the killer?
No. That would that's a pretty gruesome crime there, but
yeah.
I'm not sure if my name came up on your caller ID, but I go by a vulgar name in the chat room. Might be able to figure. I'll chat when I get back on.
All right.
I'll chat when I get back in. He's taunting Ickid Mel.
What?
That's his laugh.
First name, last name.
This part when he goes,
question.
his very first question. Listen to the excitement, the way that he laughs after he says, "Do you ever think the killer could be watching?" And then he laughs. Listen.
Kind of mainly for you, a couple of them. Do you ever consider the fact or think about while you're doing these live shows, is the killer out there? Is he watching?
Oh.
Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong.
You guys.
Yeah, you're right, but you're never going to find out.
Yeah. I really wouldn't be surprised.
And then can you guys drop the link again for Crime Sleuthin's channels in case so people can go watch the whole video? Because I think you should. It's kind of interesting to hear.
Watching right now, what's the one thing you would say to him? Yeah, they're probably like, you're wrong.
Teresa, I want to know what you think about that one. I want to know what all you guys think about that one. Hey, Marlena. I mod for T-Rev, and that call he got was creepy AF. Do you think it's the same guy, Marlena? We need his actual voice. Yep, I agree. I don't know how we can get, I don't know that. I wonder, maybe in court. Yeah, maybe during his hearing. Okay, Shabane. Maybe it was a troll. Maybe it was him. I don't know. It's just, she says, not him. It's creepy. I don't think BK was calling into Ickid Mel T-Rev or anybody else. I do think he was staying up all night watching YouTube videos and news reports. Me too, because people say after he showed up to class really tired and that kind of stuff. I was thinking, I bet he was watching everything, trying to, he wanted to know what everybody was saying, especially people on the news, when the investigators were doing interviews with the news, when they were doing their own little interviews. Oh, thank you, Punksy. Thank you so much. Oh, Without Borders member for 16 months. Oh, I love you. Thank you. I gotta hear his voice. True crime astrologer. Well, she did that in her video, so that there's a reason that I didn't play his clip today. I didn't want to take her video because that's what it was. She was comparing Ickid Mel with the T-Rev, and I felt like if I clipped it all, I don't know. I just didn't feel right about doing that, So, but if you go watch her video, she has it back to back. I was hurt. People were saying that in chat that Bryan and his father got pulled over twice in Indiana. Wonder if there's body cam footage of that. Oh, yes, there is. Of course there is. And I bet you there are probably already people getting them. We should get them. Woofy, we should request that. The body cam footage from him and his dad being pulled over in Indiana. This is all great discussion. I'm leaning towards the Reddit person TikTok being saying whether it's Bryan. I don't know, but I think they're the same because of handwriting comparisons and similar things. Hey, Candace. Called into Brittany's and was creepy. Oh, I got to hear that. Did he sound like this at all? And what did he say? Do you think he had a conspirator? That dude that made that video, though, where he was giving details about the crime, and you can see his reflection in the, I know, they do look identical. I actually, so as I was getting together, like getting stuff together to do a video today, I had pulled up on my Facebook account. I'm going to show you guys, because I didn't even know about this till like I was digging for my own video. So we'll watch this before we go because I'm going to go soon. But this video I wanted to watch with you guys. So you can see in the order which I find things. I find these after I sent to myself. I thought I had sent it up here. Oh, it must not have went through until after. So I sent to myself these because I wanted to go through, and I also had a video in my lineup of like the comparisons. But like I'm saying, this other guy has very similar features, especially the nose and stuff. And it was, yeah. So, but see, they do look similar. After that is when I find the Killer Bees video and his video that he uploaded, and I'm talking to Woofy and I'm like, did you see that account posted? Like, oh my God. So yeah, I'm with you guys. I agree. But I just now, after seeing everything, I just think that the internet can, it can trick us easily. And there's a lot of people out there with the intentions of tricking us too. So oops. Okay.
Yeah, aggressive flirting with a couple of female
I love
bartenders
this
that
guy.
made them.
Joseph Scott Morgan. He is an incredible medical examiner, death investigator. He is always on Nancy Grace. He's done a lot as far as stuff with JJ and Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow, the Lori Vallow's children. He's a brilliant man. So anything that he comes out with, I like to watch.
Extremely uncomfortable enough that this information was in the system and was flagged at the door. So is this kind of behavior or track record with women significant as law enforcement builds a case and a profile?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, this is something that needs to be explored thoroughly. And let me give you one more if you like that one. For me,
Hey,
this
Melissa
case
Jade.
has really
Yes, it
struck
can,
me
Holly.
recently.
Woofy,
when
we're
we
going to
found out
work on
about what
getting
this
those
guy's
body
age
cams
is.
of that
He's
traffic
28.
stop.
It's really hard for me to fathom that he's just getting started perpetrating this kind of behavior at 28 years of age. I'm not inside the room with the police officers making the decisions about this, but they need to take a real long, hard look at his history in Pennsylvania. They need to go to various properties he's lived at. They need to take a look at this guy very, very carefully and see if there's anything that can tie him back to any other instances.
I mean, I have to agree with him. And I thought of this from the beginning. Like, if you go to kill somebody, right? Or even if you're going to be like a serial killer, something like that, you would think, and I know there's other serial killers whose first victims were like multiple people, but you would think that would not be your first kill. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. He did sound like that. Oh, wow. He got mad and she had to kick him off. If the rumor is true about someone being kicked out of the corner club, I wonder if it was Bryan. I tend to think that he had been planning this for a bit. And if other reports are true, we know that he most likely was watching them for a couple weeks before. So I don't know. They said I thought it was a rumor, Amber, but if Police Off the Cuff mentioned it on their show this morning, I would lean towards it being true. You would think they would start small. Yeah, it's weird. Me too, Rainbow Mama. I would love to know. Okay, Wuffy, I'm looking.
You don't get this sudden escalation in violence like this, in my opinion, at least. It seems to be so well thought out.
Wow, that's chilling insight. So we know one of the victims was brutally attacked with a knife more than the others. So how do investigators build a case for motive in this quadruple
We're going to come back
murder?
to this just because I don't want to get too far past this without us. Here we go. This is from 2 hours ago.
Breaking news, the representative for Bryan Kohberger confirmed he was pulled over twice during his trip across the country. His extradition attorney confirmed the father and son duo were pulled over in Indiana almost back to back, once for what he believes was speeding and once for following too closely. Furthermore, he states that he has been informing his client of various allegations from online. He said, quote, "I am giving him updates. I spoke to Kohberger this morning for an hour, last night for 20 minutes. Really updating him on some of the allegations that are coming out, but mainly allegations that have nothing to do with the facts and evidence in the case, but really the cross-country trip." He goes on to say, quote, "Just to clarify those types of facts as to why he ended up in Pennsylvania and whether or not he was in Pullman at the time of the acts of the homicide." He also stated he is being careful on what information he retrieves from the suspect, as he is not his defense attorney. He also stated he believes his client will be extradited late Tuesday evening or early Wednesday morning. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think?
Wow. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's her latest video. So yeah, he was pulled over twice.
Breaking news, the representative for Bryan
We need to
Kohberger
get
confirmed-
those we need to get those because yeah, like quick. Breaking news, you heard it here. I'm sorry, you guys. So he was pulled over twice. I wonder who was driving when they were pulled over. Not that it matters, just being nosy. I know, Valerie. In the beginning, when things are first breaking, they do get stuff wrong, and that's just the nature of the beast. Hey, Mystic. Amber, well, we love you. Will you cover his trial? Oh, of course. Absolutely. I cannot wait to cover the trial of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. That's another one that I'm just like, I cannot wait. It looks like it's supposed to be happening in 4 months or so. Like Ted Bundy and Dahmer, seems SK have. That's a good point, Valerie. A good observation. Never feel bad as a mod with breaking news. So no probable cause till at least Wednesday. Today's Monday. Is that what they're saying? Wednesday? Okay. So yeah, that's crazy. Let's go back to our video.
Well, that's the thing about it. I'm glad you brought up the idea of motive because
K-Star a while, a long time.
But what you do have to prove is that he was the perpetrator of the crime. And of course, being a forensic scientist, I'm going to rely upon that. I want to know the numbers. I want to know, his connectivity vis-a-vis any kind of biological tiebacks that there are there.
I suspect that this man is going to, he's very educated on the whole process, right? He's going for his doctorate. There's a lot of law enforcement officers who never get that. There's a lot of detectives who've never been in school for the things that he's been in school for, right? They learn basically on the job, firsthand experience. And, in the United States, you have a right to a speedy trial. I think it is 180 I don't know, but there is a specific number of days, and they have to, you know, that's your right. If now you can push your trial off, and your lawyer can ask for extensions and that kind of thing, but they only have so long. And I do believe, you know, he's wanting to hurry up and get back, and he's eagerly waiting to be exonerated from these crimes. So I think he's going to take advantage of that.
And probably his methodologies that he employed while he was perpetrating these crimes. Again, this goes back to any kind of linear connection he might have in his recent past.
There you go. That's what I thought. 180 days.
Various
Thank you,
locations.
Ava.
And those are going to be specific tiebacks that are going to be very foundational. Again, motive is not necessary in court. It's great to have. We see it as a device and entertainment, but it's not necessarily
Allegedly.
something that you have to have in court.
I get mad at Don and
Yeah,
Candace,
and again,
buddy.
Kelly, I'm glad that you mentioned the idea of system. He's not a forensic scientist. He has not been studying forensic science. There was an article that came out earlier today where it was conflating, I think, some of his studies with the study of forensic science. Nothing could be further from the truth. He's a studier of behavior. That's what he was going into, criminal behavior. All right. Forensic science and those things are not the same thing.
Good
So
point.
he's not going to have the same skill set, say, for instance, as somebody that would have.
As somebody like Joseph Scott Morgan, who is just a genius, and I love to listen to him, but that is such a good point. He's not studying forensic science, DNA, things like that. He's studying, like you said, behavior, criminology, procedural stuff as well, you know? And don't get me wrong. I think that the classes that he's going to have a variety of classes that will touch on some of that stuff, but it's just very different from science.
Worked in the forensic sciences.
Forensic science. It is a social
He might
science,
have an
but,
understanding, at least from a spectator point of view, from how crime
He's the
scenes are
bomb,
processed,
Amber.
but he's not going to know
I know you like
everything.
him too. We've
Trust me,
talked
in this
about him a
particular
lot.
case. He is going to be limited in his knowledge of forensic science. He may have made attempts by virtue of what he's seen or witnessed or heard in the classroom to mask some behaviors, but I can almost promise you he's left some trace behind. That's how they've gotten their hands on him at this point, and that's how this tale is going to be told. Well, I think that we're products of the environment, you know, in which we are introduced into.
That's
He
the
has
truth.
an interest, obviously, in the study of criminal behavior. You know, and the fact that he went to such a fine scholar as Catherine Ramsden to sit there and be in her class is not necessarily surprising.
Wow.
Again,
There she is.
You can't, not you, but just in general, you can't conflate, you know, his worldview with those of us that study behavior and criminal behavior.
The lady that he took classes under actually did the autobiography of BTK.
And also forensic science.
With him, I think she worked with him on it, with BTK on it.
Just like any other accused might that has been accused of some kind of horrific crime.
She'd have to, right, for it to be an
You sit around
autobiography.
and try to learn what you can about how things. If you're looking to defeat a lock in a residence or something like that, wouldn't it be cool if you could learn it from a locksmith or see what they do? It's essentially the same thing. But you know,
BTK,
in
yeah.
very broad terms, he's in a scholarly environment. He's not in an applied environment where he is learning from point A to point B to
The police are in an applied environment. The detectives, the people, you know, he's learning
Z
it.
about how the
from a
process
book.
necessarily works. It's a very broad-banded kind of environment that he's in. So the fact that he went there, he's a Pennsylvania resident, it's not too far away, is kind of interesting. I think what's more interesting to me at this point is why Washington State? Fine school, but why did he choose to travel all the way across the country? What was there someone else's feet he was seeking to sit at to learn more out there? Why so far away from Pennsylvania? There are a number of fine schools up in the area where he comes from where he could have gotten the same education. I'm just wondering
That's a good
why
point.
he chose to go to state.
I'd
I think
like
the
to.
police are exploring a lot of that.
I'd like to look at the professors that teach there and what significance they may have in the criminal justice community.
Keep in mind, this was only his first semester of doctoral level studies at this point. So is there some kind of connection to the victims and his desire to want to go to Washington State?
Interesting. Very interesting question you posed there, Joseph Scott Morgan. He wanted to be taught by a lady that wrote the autobiography on BTK. So am I right, though, that BTK would have had to help on that for it to be classified an autobiography? I cannot remember because it's been so long from school, but I'm just about certain that an autobiography is like you write it yourself, right? A biography would be someone else writes it about you. In my opinion, he planned this for a long time. My reason is he doesn't have much of a social media presence, albeit his socials or his family socials. He wanted no audio or video evidence. That's a good point. Nothing for people to be able to compare to, or I do too, Nana Banana. No, we didn't. It's the most interesting thing I learned last day. We didn't test. We went through, that account that people thought was him, and kind of tried to debunk that somewhat based on what we have. And then we played a couple call-in things, some TikToks, went through some posts in Facebook groups, and now we're here. But he is a narcissist and thought he was smarter than he is. That was his downfall. Yep, delusions of grandeur. Washington is the serial killer capital. I think it has something to do with Ted Bundy. Oh, wow. No, I didn't, Holly. Did you hear the interview room last night? They totally validated what you've been saying about his survey and how it couldn't have been for school. Well, it makes no sense because it was put out after he graduated from DeSales, and it was a DeSales University survey. He was now a student at Washington State. And I also heard that if it would have been a survey through the school that, other people would have access to it, different things like that. So I think he wanted to study in the state Ted Bundy did. That is odd, Woofy. It is. When you consider that thought, you begin to realize there may be more victims prior to this event. We should look into unsolved stabbings in Pennsylvania and around that area. She and BTK are actually friends. Ugh. She met with BTK many times. Okay. Correct, Alex. She wrote it with BTK. I'm going to see what I can look into. Had to get court approval to talk to BTK and write his book. Okay. Because I kept hearing people say she wrote his autobiography, and I'm like, huh? That doesn't make sense to me based on what I know, unless he helped. I sent you a TikTok. He explains it briefly. Where'd you send it? We'll watch it, and then I'm going to let you guys go. No, Woofy, I'm not telling. No. I want it first. Let's see. Tess, I'm going to forward it to... Ooh, it's from Killer B2, which is the guy we watched that did the debunking of the reflection video. Okay, let's watch this, and then I'm going to let you guys go. And hopefully, I'm also looking for any updates in Madalena's case. Frustrating. But look, it took a while it took a long time with this one. Not a long time. It was actually very short, but longer than a week or two. It took a bit. Okay, here is, let's share this. Present, share screen. Here we go.
Then he gave a statement.
I love this guy. He's good.
His current attorney is just representing him for extradition.
Wait.
Didn't ask him about the case.
Whose video is this? Oh, it is Killer B. Okay.
All they have to show for extradition, gave a statement.
I just didn't want
have an attorney.
Somebody who
his current
took his
attorney is
video.
just representing him for extradition. Didn't ask him about the case. All they have to show for extradition is that he's the guy on the warrant and he was in the area at the time. His attorneys told him that they probably used geofencing that he's in the area at the time of the crime. That, coupled with a court order for him to stop cleaning the house. Getting someone to waive their Miranda rights is an art. The FBI interrogators are some of the best in the world. They teach interrogation. As an interrogator, you can talk to your suspect as long as you want, as long as you're not questioning them about the crime. There will be word selection and body cues that you can read on your suspect to show that you're building rapport. And that's when you get them to waive their Miranda rights. How did he get caught? When they increased the number of FBI agents, I figured they got a hit on the DNA. News outlets have reported they used genealogy. I take that to mean somewhere in the database, a relative has submitted a sample for DNA. A major news outlet said a law enforcement source told them they used geofencing. That's when his phone pings back to the same location as the victims, and that he was following them around. They had information on the vehicle, and it's going to have a ton of evidence in it, and that's why it was confiscated. I talk about the use of genealogy with the Golden State Killer on my podcast. You can find it on YouTube under Pure Power 34. Do I think his parents knew? Probably not. The attorney said his dad flew out there and drove him back. If they knew that he was a heroin addict, he could have just called and said he fell off the wagon. If his folks did know, could they be arrested for harboring? Parent houses are exempt in my state. The FBI followed him for 4 days. That's how long it took them to get their ducks in a row enough for an arrest warrant. You get one shot. With this high-profile case, you've got to get it right. The Moscow police chief was recently interviewed and said that he stood by his statement that this was a directed attack, and that he's confident they have their guy. My theory is that he was stalking Kaylee. One of the bar owners in the area that knew the suspect said he was a weirdo, and that he had to tell him to leave some women alone. So much so that when he scans his license at the bar,
Thank you, Snazzy
there's a note saying he
Trinkets.
could be a problem. Criminology is more
Thank
about
you
criminal
so
behavior,
much.
not about police work. I don't think he was smart. I think he was caught by surprise. And getting interrogated at 4 a.m., you probably don't have all your
Hold
wits
up.
about you. Me just sitting there thinking of all the evidence they have to have. I'm betting the death penalty is on the table. Because a big-name lawyer has not stepped up saying that he's representing this guy. And someone would love the free press if they thought they could win. Once again, I could be wrong. I bet he gave a statement because he doesn't have an attorney. His current attorney is just representing him for extradition. Didn't ask him about the case.
I found it on
Show
New
for
York
extradition
Post.
is that he's the guy on the
Okay, you guys. Thank you, Snazzy Trinkets. Let's see. I said that when we went over it the other day. I was like, the only way that study could be for school is if he took summer classes. Maybe he. Let's see what this says. David, I don't know. I think it's actually from Daily Mail and New York Post picked it up. Okay, accused Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger was a brilliant student, DeSales professor claims. A former university professor of Bryan Kohberger said the accused killer was one of my best students ever, and that the then master's candidate was one of the only 2 students she has recommended to a PhD program. Michelle, 33, an associate professor at DeSales, told the Daily Mail that Kohberger, who was arrested for the University of Idaho students, was a great writer and a brilliant student. Those are direct quotes, great writer, brilliant student. She said, in my 10 years of teaching, I've only recommended 2 students to a PhD program, and he was one of them. He was one of my best students ever. Everyone is in shock over this, she told the outlet, adding that he was always perfectly professional with her. The associate professor at the private Catholic University in Center Valley, Pennsylvania, said she was stunned that her former student had been charged in the shocking crime. That's her. Wow. I'm shocked as shit at what he's been accused of. I don't believe it, but I get it, Bolger said. This news is upsetting. I haven't slept at all since hearing about Bryan. She told the news outlet that she taught Kohberger in an online class last year and helped him with his master's thesis at DeSales. I never saw him in person. I couldn't tell you how tall he was or how much he weighed. My only interaction with him was via email and Zoom. I didn't know anything about him, whether he was married, had a girlfriend, etc. He seemed normal to me, but then again, I only knew him from teaching him online. I didn't know anything personal about him. I believe he worked full-time like most of our graduate students do. She said she advised Kohberger with his thesis, which involved questioning people about their thoughts and feelings during the commission of a crime. I was one of the professors that helped Bryan with his proposal on his graduate thesis, his capstone project. He did put out a routine questionnaire for his thesis. It looks weird, I understand from the public view, but in criminology, it's normal. It had to have been posted before June then. That must have been a repost that we saw because he graduated in May. It was, and he did, I know he reposted it several times because I remember seeing that. But I bet you the original post, well, I don't know. I don't know. I can't make sense of that. It's a criminology theory called script theory. It's a normal theory on how and why criminals commit their crimes, she said. After graduating from DeSales last year, Kohberger enrolled as a doctoral student at Washington State. Let's pull up this Daily Mail. If I click on this red thing, hopefully it's a link to the article. Excuse me, you guys. I'm sorry. Here we go. Exclusive. Idaho quadruple killer's criminology professor reveals he was a brilliant student. From her house in Lehigh Valley. Do they have a video of it? The program has a mock crime scene house where it gives our students hands-on practical experience in investigating criminal activity. The master's program is about $24,000. Holy moly, you guys. I think we're learning that not everything is how it seems, especially online. Mr. Kohberger has been accused of very serious crimes, his attorney says, but the American justice system cloaks him in a veil of innocence. He should be presumed innocent until proven otherwise. The online directory shows he worked as a teaching assistant for the criminal justice and criminology program. Ben Roberts, a criminology student, told Fox that Kohberger was very confident and outgoing, but appeared as if he was always looking for a way to fit in. One thing he would always do, almost without fail, was find the most complicated way to explain something. We interacted in class, but personally, I was not a fan of Bryan because of comments he made about LGBTQ plus individuals. Huh. Super, super interesting. There is the professor that helped him with this research project. So now we know that the guy in the reflection, most likely, in my opinion, I don't think it's Bryan that's in that video. The research project actually was a research project, and there was other, because that was something that people were coming out and saying, like, if it was a real research project, there would be other people involved. It wouldn't be just him. To get proper data and publishes makes no sense. I can't make sense of it either. I don't even know. Thank you, Jay. Excellent writing. Where's his manifesto? I hope they got it when they took his computer. Oh, I bet they got a lot from his house. Okay, Woofy. Has a problem with his sexuality. It's possible. He may have a problem with his own self. I think he either planned his act similar to how it turned out, and there's more we don't know, or he made a mistake and reacted emotionally. So crazy, you guys. I gotta be honest, I'm a little bit shocked about that. So, and we learned that they were using geofencing, which is, you know, seeing if his cell phone was in the range of the other people's cell phones. You should send that to me, Amber. I've not seen it at all. If you have it somewhere handy, will you send it to me? Okay, you guys. So I'm going to let you guys go. We've been on here almost 2 hours. And while I was live, my son came down here asking, why are you live right now? You're always live. I'm like, I'm live once a day. Some days I take off and only for a couple hours, but okay, fine. So I need to see what he needs. Yeah, send me that. I'll send it to you, Woofy. You know I will when Amber sends it to me. Okay, I won't be sleeping until the trial. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for being here to hang out with me and go through all this craziness. We want 4 hours. I love you guys. I gotta go look for your lives because I'm subscribed and I haven't been getting any, like, I don't get notifications at all, but I haven't even been seeing them in my timeline, like in my, all that. Thank you, Crime Sleuth. And yeah, definitely you guys go check out that video comparing the 2 people that called in. Can somebody drop her link for me one more time, pretty please? And then thank you guys. Thank you, Valerie. Squid, all you guys. I love you. Appreciate you, Rainbow Mom Riddler. Yeah, and I'll see you guys soon, okay? Bye.